Just make your job easy.
Heartbreak at the G. West Coast shot out of the blocks in the opening term, but the Tigers dug in and worked their magic in the wet and prevailed by one straight kick to make a race for the top four, all the more exciting into the last home and away game of the season. Welcome to this week's episode of Eagle Review, proudly sponsored by Kennards Hire. We're not there this week, but we are back at Mineral Resources Park. Still love you, kennards.com.au. Benny Roberts.
Hello.
That was...
No bother.
The previous two premiers, always going to be a mouth-watering result when they get together for a monster clash on the G. And since the bye, West Coast 7-1, the Tigers 7 straight. So form on both of their sides. West Coast have the wood over the Tigers a little bit prior to the matchup. Won 3 of the last 4, and that's all the more impressive with the form the Tigers have been in over that space. But ultimately, the fourth quarter, it delivered in terms of excitement, didn't it?
Absolutely. It was a tough game. It was a slog after half-time and the rain came down. It was a real slog. The Eagles burst out of the blocks, owned the first term. Tigers owned the second term. And, geez, it could have gone either way, really, in the end. Scores were level really late in the piece. But, as you say, the Tigers probably, in the end, adapted better to the conditions and adapted better in terms of what the game was doing. And a lot of intercepts for them. I think if you look at the numbers, 34-16 forward half intercepts for them. They scored 59 points from that source. So there's your game, my friend. So they had a way that they played, we have a way that we played, and on the day the Tigers were just too good.
Yeah, too much supply, Simo said. 18 more inside 50s from the Tigers, and their entries were probably a little bit more deeper than West Coast on the day as well. Actually, when JK took that contested mark at the top of the square and levelled the scores, Benny, got every Eagles fan up and about. It was the first goal since quarter time where the chain was started in defensive 50. So that free-flowing coast-to-coast ball movement was just stopped ultimately after that first quarter. And West Coast, I'll tell you how they got on top. With the 5-goal lead, they went 7-1. How's the accuracy?
Accuracy. Ticking them from everywhere.
10-1 from both sides, so everyone finding the big sticks. 77% kicking efficiency, so they were pinpointing their targets well. They ended up winning 10 of the final 11 clearances of the quarter, so they were coming hard, and that was Richmond's biggest quarter-time deficit of the whole year. They were jumped.
Absolutely, and it's always good, particularly away against a big crowd, or see nearly all of them there to support the Tigers. Always good to start well, and they certainly gave themselves a chance, but then Richmond flicked the switch after that and went into things in the second quarter. 3-1, 16 inside 50s to 5, just 25% time and forward half for the West Coast Eagles, so just couldn't get any ground position. Less handball, more kicking, surging sort of football in the conditions, as you say. The Tigers were able to restrict the Eagles to scores generated from the back half, almost none if you like. 41 points from stoppages in the last month, 0 scores from stoppages in the second term. So the Tigers, as we say, had the total control of the game in the second quarter. From there, it was a bit of a slog.
Dusty Martin, he looked unstoppable at times at this contest, and it's just a game of what-ifs when you have your best shutdown player in Mark Hutchings leave the game after quarter time, and that's going to put him in some strife, I dare say, running short this time of year. And it's his second hamstring in the last month too, Benny.
Yeah, really disappointing. And what Adam Simpson spoke about after the game was it just loses that option to really go and clamp down on anyone, whether it's Dusty or someone else, even Hooley off half-back. If he's
34 touches,
he ended up with 34. But if you look at Dusty's game, just quietly, 35 touches, 15 inside 50s. His season high to this point was 12, so he smashed that. 887 metres gained, 8 score involvement, 6 clearances. So I dare say he'll be in the votes from the umpires, but other guys through the midfield that were really damaging. Presti with 29, Edwards with 29, and Hooley off half-back 34 really set them up. And the way that they're able to defend the game and have guys back and use the ball out of defence was really impressive. And yeah, as we said, the Tigers too good.
West Coast midfield certainly gave it a crack in the end. You had Yo with 26 and 15 clearances. He was doing his best.
His sort of day.
Yeah, it was, and he was doing his best from the source. Gaff 28 and 15 contested. That's pretty good for Gaffy. And Shuey 25 and 6 clearances, but ultimately Simo saying just probably couldn't go with him in the transition, the midfield.
Yeah, he said that they probably lowered their colours. We know they won the clearances overall, but the Tigers got on top, breaking away from when they had the ball and couldn't quite defend properly. But yeah, it was a good effort and a slog, and a really good test ahead of September.
Now, big Tommy Barris probably going to cop some heat for some externals of his game on the weekend, but I tell you what, he did a couple of massive things that prevented Richmond goals. What about this one? Back with the flight, 2v1. Great contest, and his slide to the line to prevent this goal. That was lightning pace from big Tommy B. Will Schofield was removed from the team, Benny. Bit of a selection decision late in the piece.
Yep.
Josh Rotham came in, match-up purposes and weather, Simo said.
Yeah.
And can you believe, out of his 3 games, 2 have been at the G.
Blockbusters.
Collingwood and Richmond. Doesn't get better. I thought he held up pretty well.
He was very good. He was very good and managed to do some nice things with the footy and without it, and good signs for the future for him.
Few moments we do want to touch on. Jack Darling's first quarter, Benny. He's come out
Boom.
Absolutely on fire. Had the first 2 goals of the game. Had 2 of the last 2 Brownlow votes last time they played. So almost, picked up from where he left off. He had one contest, it was 2v1, brought it to ground, and Willie Rioli came zooming past and converted. And did a lot of other things.
Wasn't all the fancy stuff. Wasn't all the fancy stuff. Have a look at this effort going back with the flight into. Knew something was coming the other way and whacking everyone, including myself, Stephen, thought, oh boy, what's he done? Didn't move very much for a little while, but came back on. Monster corky, maybe, I don't know, but geez, he looks sore.
I thought Liam Ryan's mark, that was pretty special stuff. And to go back and convert, as important.
Moment. Crucial goal, because it was all going the other way in that quarter. So just to get the 1 was very important.
Well, speaking of that, crucial goals, Jamie Cripps is in the 3rd. It was the only goal West Coast had for that stanza. The amount of time that Cripper has this ball in his possession is minimal. That is lightning and a massive goal. Very skillful stuff. Let's talk about the studs up rule, Benny. I think that's going to get a lot of attention. Jack Riewoldt done twice on the day. I have my opinions. Hate it in juniors. Hated when people had the studs up. I hate it, Benny, in amateur footy. Hate when people would do that. There's grey area if you say you're going to outlaw it. What's your opinion?
I don't have an issue if it is. If that's a free kick, you can't do it and it's a free kick. I don't have a big opinion on it, mate.
Gee, you got paid the big bucks for this show, don't you, Benny? Time for our roast of the round, courtesy of Kennards. Let's get stuck in. Love when the pre-game they talk up Gov. Let's go for a shot of him quickly. Yep, that is him spewing out the mouth. Costagna, top of the goal square. Why he's trying to snap that one? A little bit perplexing. Missed that. Ellis, how's this for a genuine floater outside 50? Also, Soldo not paid a mark there. Probably want to have another look at that. The Hearn Falcon. That
Big Falcon.
That was a special. It was a goal assist Falcon.
Almost a goal assist Falcon, which is a rare Falcon. And, geez, I mean, if that just goes past over the shoulder, just misses the head, bounces a different way, who knows what happens, who knows. But how about this one, the smother from Grimes, the smother and collect. You don't see those too often, but...
That kick's gone 0 centimetres.
Yep, no metres gained there. Shuey missing this soccer from inside defensive 50. You can be better than that, Luke. I know you are. Little comment from Eddie. Let's have a little bit of a history lesson from Eddie. Let's have a listen.
Guys, do you remember the bicentenary in 1988? It's a long time ago now.
I was 6.
That was the last time that the West Coast Eagles were able to score a better first quarter score at the MCG. So it's a ripping first quarter for the Eagles.
Incorrect, Edward. We did have a 1995 game. We went 7-2 in the first quarter, so not the 98. G trained 5 goals that day. It was good.
Fraser Kerrick, 5 of the best.
Steaming out of the square. Geez, it was good to watch.
How good.
5 of those, many of those probably in the first quarter.
Let's go around the grounds. North Cairns, 402 points. That's a belting to Port Douglas.
Percentage booster.
You don't say.
We got a little first question without notice. We're going to do a first on the Eagle Review. Fans deciding.
No point having this, you're going off script.
I'm going off script. Fans can decide, from my point of view, the winner of the roast of the round. We've got 2 options. Here's the first one. The Fox coverage. Have a look at this bloke fighting his way through the poncho. Genuine humour. It's always funny.
I think he's still working on it.
Still working on it, I think. He's still in Bay 13 working through that one. The other one we'd like to look at is have a look at, this is always humour, when the goal umpire waving the flags overzealously collects the fullback looking to kick it out. Boom, down he goes. Not fussed either. He's looking for, geez, did I dent my flag? He's not worried about the bloke that's seeing stars on the floor. So you decide which one's the roast around. Let us know in the comments below. See you next week.